I have not made my morning coffee yet. That's okay. So we can get started. So, some topics that I want to get into. By the way, this is day 15 of live streaming every day. So, we have done this for over 14 days. Right now, your body is dismantling your last meal and building it into you. In a year, most of whatever is called you will be made of meals you have not eaten yet. Your future self is currently sitting in the supermarket. Yo, what's up, Jacob? You're here early? Cool, cool. So you are what you eat. Everything you eat goes into your body, your gut. Your gut is full of bacteria. And when people say, "Who are you?" it's like they're talking about the bacteria inside you, too. So we are made up of many things. Hunger is just a chemical text message. You've never met your actual hunger, you only get the notifications. Interesting. So hunger is comes and goes in waves. Um, the longest I've ever fasted was about 42 hours of no food, and I found that like eating is not as necessary as we'd believe, but of course consult your doctor. This is just like a limited belief that kind of changed the way I saw things. Is like I didn't need food for a long time. I could just drink water for like over a day, 1.5 days plus. And so water, tea, coffee, the different things that I drank during my fast. No milk though. I don't think milk counts, right? And so, no, that first meal when you come back after you fast, after you not eat anything for so long, it's like feels so different than just eating normally. Like your body is so sensitive to anything that you put in because you haven't put anything in there for so long. You just want to make sure that it's not like junk food or something too bad. Cooking is chewing with fire. Our ancestors let flames do half the digestion, and the saved energy may have built the very brain you are using to read this. Interesting. So I like to cook. I cook all my own meals. I used to eat out all the time, and then I found that it wasn't necessary. Yeah, I do mukbangs from here and there, but it's not necessary to got to look at the grocery prices, of course. You have to look at your health. That's the biggest thing. Like you don't know what spices, ingredients, oils, and like you don't know what they're doing to it. You can only trust that they're doing the best to the food. You can't decide whether or not what they're doing to it is good or bad because you can't see the kitchen. Now, if you cook at home, then you see the kitchen, you see everything like, oh yeah, I got this bottle of olive oil from this grocery store. So I know I'm cooking with that. Like they can be cooking with something else entirely that you have no idea what it is, which is really dangerous. So I tried to eat out like maybe once or twice a week at most if I can, if I can control it. So cooking is really and it does take time, so you have to make sure you have the time to do it. But there are fast recipes out there. Social media has a lot of good recipes you could just watch and. Hey, what's up, Skittles? Yo, thank you, man. Thank you. The camera is a Sony FX3. I got it a few years ago. And I, got it to make content with, it's a very good camera. I think the whole setup plus the lens is about 5,000 US, right? The lens is what was the most expensive. I think the lens was more expensive than the actual body of the camera. But it took me a long time to get here, man. Like I've been doing this since like 2019. And so, I mean, my first camera, I think I got around that year too. My first was a Canon EOS M50, and that camera really brought me through many, many years. Like, you don't have to have a good, yeah, Taiwanese American. You don't have to have a good, you don't have to have a good camera, you know? But it really depends on your niche, right? Like, a lot of people ask me this, like, hey, what camera should I use? Like, you don't have to use an iPhone. Like, you don't even have, you can use like an old iPhone from the early 2000s if you want. Um, Born in Texas, but went to Taiwan. Yeah, yeah. Born and raised in Texas. People ask like, what is a Taiwanese American? I am in the South. I'm in the South, in a city called Tainan. It's a really big city, you know. Used to be the old capital of Taiwan. And I'd say, what is Chinese American? What is Taiwanese American? Like I can trace my ancestors back to Fujian. Oh, you were in Tainan in December. That's crazy. It's a great city, man. The food is incredible. But when I say food, I only mean local food. Like if you want to get international food, Taipei is the place for that. Anything international, Taipei is better for. International cameras, food, anything. But Tainan is really good for the local stuff. Just make sure you have cash on you because all the local places, like mostly they just take cash, right? Really good like fan tuan, youtiao, saoping. They have really great everything local. Drinks, doujiang, tea, guotie. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, guotie is so Tainan, Jacob, is actually a city in Taiwan. It's the old capital. Before Taipei was the capital, it was actually Tainan, which is where I am now. It's a really big city, and it's just known for local food. People come from all over the island just to eat here. They just come to eat the xiaoci here. And it's known for the local alleyway shops, food, cafes. They're really famous for that. It's like all over the city. And so it's an incredible place to just eat. I'm trying to do that more, talk and maybe do some like eating with voiceovers or something. Like that'll be fun. Like there's so much you could do here. And so this camera, I have a Sony FX3 with one of those lenses like this long heavy ones. That's really good. Like it's just it's really all about the lens. The body will be an expensive buy-in, but like the lens is what really eats the cost. For a mic on my camera, like, well, I'm using a Shure SM7B attached to a Rodecaster Pro 2. And so that Rodecaster is attached to, just its own power source. But it can also connect to the internet. I can also connect my iPhone to my Rodecaster. Like, it's the best thing that I've probably my go-to tool, because you could definitely have podcasts with this. People definitely use podcasts for this, or they use this for podcasting. Really, and yeah, it's kind of expensive as well, but it's like it's worth it, man. If you're doing any expensive audio, desktop things, like if you want to do gaming, Rodecaster, man. Rodecaster, sure, a Shure mic, and like a nice camera like this. And a good thing, and the only reason why I got this camera is because I was looking for a camera that was like really good quality and that like I could record for like hours and hours at a time. Like I just press play, or I just in my OBS, I just press stream and I could just go for hours, man. This camera is really heavy duty. People make actual feature length films with this camera. You know? Fuhua Night Market. I don't know Fuhua Night Market, man. I know Yonghua Night Market. I know Huayuan Night Market. I mean there's a bunch. There's a bunch of night markets, man. But I don't really go to night markets, because when they open, when they're popping, I'm in bed, man. I'm in bed by 8. I'm trying to get in bed by 9, you know? Well, what do I do in bed? Oh, I don't sleep. I'm not that old yet, okay? You can guess how old I am, by the way. I'm pretty freaking old, dude. Especially for a content creator, I'm considered really old. Like, I am a dinosaur in this space. 35. Good guess, man. Good guess. Thank you though. Tells me I still look relatively young for how old I am. But thank you. You can have one more guess and then I'll just tell you the answer because, why not? You can just look it up on Google, man. You can probably find how old I am. 37. I'm 42. I'm 42. I'll be 43 in about 4 months. It's crazy. Yeah, yeah. So, married with 2 kids, wife and 2 kids, and kids are at school. Thank God they can learn something. When they were on break, they were just at home all day watching iPads. But it wasn't all to waste, my son and daughter got to just watch what they like to watch, and it's a good way to get around mentally and see internationally. 33, not married. It's okay. It's okay. 33, not married. I mean, I got married when I was like 35 or something. I don't remember. It was like 7 years ago, I think. Right? So I was about 35. And what was I doing back then? I just started making content. It was the third thing I tried to get out of my 9 to 5. So I've been a teacher in Taiwan since like 2007. and then I taught until 2019, no, until 2020. Yeah. So I taught for, goodness gracious, how long is that? 13 years. 13 years a teacher. And it wasn't something I liked or hated. It's just something that I didn't want to do for the rest of my life. Like at first I was like, yeah, I could probably do this for the rest of my life. And then it's like, well, every day that passes by, I feel like I'm not building something on my own. And then I found self-help, or self-help found me. And I listened to some audiobooks, I read some books, and then because of self-help books, I was able to just leave my 9 to 5 life gradually. And if it wasn't for that, then I wouldn't have left. I would just have stayed at my job because I didn't know better. I wouldn't have thought outside of the box. So, not saying that like 9 to 5 is for everybody or is not for everybody. Like some people can be like they call it intrapreneur versus entrepreneur. Like an entrepreneur is somebody who creates a business or creates something outside of a 9 to 5, right? But like an intrapreneur is like someone who turns a 9 to 5 into like they are an entrepreneur inside of a 9 to 5. So it all depends. Like, do you like free floating in space or do you like to be grounded? Like, I like to free float in space, man. I like to just make my own thing. But I'm still building it. I'm still considered a startup company. Like, I'm definitely a startup. Even though I've been doing this for 7 years, I'm still building it into something. So like right now, I'm exploring live streaming. I'm trying to build it into live streaming, but from live streaming, I'm gonna build it into something else. So Skittles says I spent 2 years in China, 2 years in Taiwan, never taught a day of English. How is it? It's it's a grind. At first, it's exciting. The students don't know who you are. The school doesn't know who you are. The administration doesn't know you, and you're just kind of they trust you to do your job or to do it in a way that's better than they because they were born and raised in Taiwan, maybe. And then you do your best. You make mistakes, you write notes, you make little guides for yourself. Like that's what I did. Uh, Very exciting, man. The kids don't know who you are. Like they pick on you, and you kind of just playfully pick on them. It's fun. You look at Google and whatever social media to see what games are popping, and you just do those games in your classrooms. And then you just try to have as much fun as possible while you are teaching them. Like it's like balancing fun for yourself and for the kids, as well as like teach them something at least, right? So, but it's something that I've been trying to get out of, and I was able to. I'm just very blessed and very thankful. So now I'm like a YouTuber. I also do Facebook content, and I do like a little Instagram, TikTok, a little bit of everything. So I'm on mainly like 5 or 6 platforms, and 7 million over everything. I have under 200 followers on Twitch, which is crazy, but it's fun. It's something that I want to do. I'm still kind of like getting back into media, social media. Um, I was kind of playing around with AI for a while, and I'm getting back into that too. So it's like I'm juggling a lot of brands on my plate, and my hands are full. All right, so speaking of food, nobody can prove your sweet feels like they're sweet. You and your best friend have shared 1,000 meals and possibly never tasted the same thing. Interesting. Now, speaking of food, you haven't even. Everyone takes in food differently, man. Interesting. You know, um, Definitely like when I get older, food tastes different. But there's certain things in Thailand like lo zao fan always tastes like lo zao fan. Like it just never changed in its taste for me. Boba nai cha never changed in its taste for me. Certain things, yeah, change, but certain things don't. And so that's the beauty of like growing up. Like, yeah, certain things, depending on your health or your taste buds, foods change in taste to you. Your preference will change. Like maybe it'll taste the same to you, but what you like will be different. And then you just stop liking it for some reason or another. You are the main character of exactly one story out of 8 billion. Everyone else is living a whole life off screen every second. Interesting. So whenever we leave somebody, we don't talk to them anymore. Maybe we just pass someone on the street. They're living their main character lives. Gultier is amazing, man. There's a place called Sihai Yolong in Taiwan. It's like a franchise, and that place has some real those like the spicy Gultier and the original flavor Gultier. Those are freaking incredible, man. Those are crazy. I could eat like 20 of them, like 20 of them in one sitting. Like those are really good. Everyone you've ever hated was the hero of their own story, including the ones who hurt you. So if you have a villain, you have an enemy in your life, and they hate you, they hurt you, they are also the hero of their own story, and they think they're the good guy, and they think you're the bad guy. It's crazy to think about. I think about it all the time. Like haters. How many haters do I have? I don't know. Probably infinite. The more people who see you, the more haters you get. But you don't need the haters. You just need to find the right people. You're an extra. Well, you're an NPC in your own life. Yeah, that's funny, man. An extra. Yeah, for me, like I hear people talking about like, hey, people who don't have a voice in their heads are NPCs. That stuck with me. Like, do you have to have a voice in your head in order to actually be a main character or a side character? What, like you don't have a voice in your head, so suddenly, you know, you're just an NPC? Like, that's a wild thought to have. Thought of that? All right. Right now, the only time that has ever existed for you. Oh, this is the only time that has ever existed for you. The past is a memory. The future is a guess. You live on a knife edge 1 second wide. Your voice. Oh, look, you have the voice in your head. So you're not an NPC. So, you have a voice, and that's all that matters. If you have a voice in your head, you talk to yourself, you're not an NPC, right? I talk to myself all the time. I used to talk to myself a lot more. Talking out loud actually helps. But ever since I got an iPhone or just like a computer phone, I stopped talking to my phone. Like I stopped talking to myself. And that's dangerous. Like sometimes I just want to like walk around my house with no phone so I can just talk to myself. Like I think we all need to talk to ourselves a little more. I think if we all talk to ourselves, then we can actually get to know ourselves a little more. That we cannot, because we always feel in the back of our heads that there's someone listening in the phone. Like there's an extra ear inside the iPhone or inside the Android. And I feel that way. Like when I have my phone next to me, I feel like I'm being watched, right? Now there's certain levels to this. Comfort levels. Like how comfortable are you of what you do and say around your phone? Because it's got a camera and it's got a microphone. And it's like I always feel like I'm being watched whenever my phone's in the room with me. To different degrees depending on what I say and what I do. So I do feel like there's already a thought police in my phone. So when I just put my phone down and I just walk around the house, I should probably do that, man. I should take my own medicine. Because if I walk around with no phone, then I could definitely talk to myself and not worry about anything listening to me. Because I'm not like there's nothing listening to me. It's just me, myself, and I. Right? So it's like, how far am I willing to go to do that? You know? It's very hard because I listen to audiobooks when I go upstairs. I listen to podcasts. I put on YouTube, you know? Get the YouTube Premium, man, with the screen off, right? Walk around, listen to it without pressing any buttons accidentally. Like it's a really good, and then and no ads. And so shoot, man, YouTube Premium is like one of my best investments, Skittles, sounds like you were about to get into some serious meditation and present to the moment insights. Yeah, I do have insights about this, man. I'm so freaking old. You notice the older you get, the more you yap and the more nonstop you talk. Like it's been 19 minutes and I've been going full force, man. I've been like a fucking racehorse at this shit, right? Just going full force, don't give a fuck, just talking whatever, right? And I think it's good just to get your thoughts out there in live. Also, it's good to get your thoughts out there in different ways on different sensations, right? Vocally by yourself with no phone around you at all. Once live stream with other people. Maybe even once alone when just recording yourself and deciding to post it or not. Using a pen or a pencil and writing it down on the notebook is a completely different sensation. And it's a completely different thought process, relationship building experiment with yourself. And so, um, you've forgotten most days of your own life. Whole years gone. Someone else might remember a day of yours that you lost that is your own day. Like someone might even remember, like, hey, this is what you were doing on this day. Like, hey, you went to the post office on this day, on Monday of 1995 in your car, and you got out and you wore these shoes and, you wore jeans. And this is the brand of jeans you wore. It's like, what? I did? I didn't even know that. So I have a bad memory. I don't even remember most of my life. So some people remember things when they're 3 years old, 4 years old, right? Dude, I don't remember anything like when I was 3 or 4. Like it's insane. Okay, and shoot, uh, I just got me a little mental hiccup there because I was thinking about my dad, right? So I haven't seen my dad since like I was 3 or 4. You know, he passed away when I was 3 or 4. So I lived most of my life without a dad, and so I do wonder. You know, that's why I had a little mental hiccup. I couldn't say anything for a second because I was thinking about my father. Yeah, I do. I do wonder like what my dad would look like if he was alive. You know, all these years later, what I would be like if he was alive, and what he would be like, what he would look like, what our relationship would be like, what I would say to him if he was alive today, what we would do together. It's just wild. Um, there are people who would rather not have had fathers because their experience with their dad is so bad. And whenever they say that, I can't really compare. I can't really contrast. I can't really argue with them because I never had a dad, so I can't compare that. The only people who can compare them to are people who actually had fathers, right? So it's like a different playing field. It's like I cannot say, "Oh, you're lucky you had a dad," because I didn't have one. Well, what if not having a dad? What if they would have turned out better if they didn't have a dad? Like these are uncomfortable questions that I don't like asking, right? Because then it's like, well, then what's the value of a human life? Does your dad deserve to live? It's just crazy. Uh, Skittles, little 2-year-old me in 1995, rocking Levi's, driving to the post office. Yeah, I pretty much. What? 2 years old? Holy crap. Man, you were young, man. I was born in 83. You're born in 95? 12 years younger than me. That means you are 30 years old. Woo! 30 years old, right? But you said you're 33, so I'm a little confused. But that's what it is. 30 years old, man. When you turn 30, you definitely remember that. I remembered it. When I turned 40, did I remember turning 40? Good lord. What, I'm 40 years old. Hold on. What was I doing at 40 years old? I don't even remember when I was 40 years old. I do remember 30, though. I don't remember 20. I don't remember 40. I don't remember 10. But I do remember 30. I don't know why 30 is like that memorable. 2 years old, 95 means 1993. Ah, yes! You see, not all Asians are good at math. You know, people like me who went to art school and didn't really do much with their life, like me, which is kind of sad to say. Mathematicians, dude, a lot of the students in my high school, junior high school, a lot of the smart ones in math, they were Asian. They were Asian, Jewish, Indian. Yeah, they were Asian, Jewish, and Indian. Those were the best at math. Hey, I don't make the rules, man. All right. Uh, and these were actually the 3 smartest. But see, inside the Asian community is really big. So the Asians included a lot of people, but the smartest among the Asians and the hardest working and the smartest ones were Chinese, like from China. They were the smartest ones, dude. They were the hardest working too. But, but you also had Taiwanese, right? Because we are basically Han Chinese. We are Han Chinese, right? And I think as far as Asians go, that those are the 2 smartest. Were basically Chinese people, bro. You know, the Koreans were smart too. The Japanese were smart too, but dude, the Chinese kind of took the top when it came to like mathematics and all that stuff. Taiwan is a good mix of hard work. Yeah, Taiwan is a good mix. You know, a lot of the best entrepreneurs, the freedom thinkers, you know, that built incredible entrepreneurship and just empires, right? We're from Taiwan, bro. Taiwan. You have that space to think, and then you have the Han Chinese genes. Whoo, you're unstoppable, you know? You're just not afraid to just think outside the box. You don't give a fuck, right? And so a lot of the Taiwanese Americans in the US were incredibly innovative and they were incredibly inventive. They did things their way in the way they did them and the way they wanted to. And it's just crazy, 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 just crazy, man. Like the generation of my father is like the ones that went to the US. Dude, those were the most successful Taiwanese Americans, man. I'm telling you. And then their children were also incredibly talented too and incredibly diverse and innovative and also had minds of their own. Like, it's incredible. And you have different kinds of Asians. You got like third world Asians. No, 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 not third world Asians. They're called third culture kids, third culture Asians, right? I didn't even know what third culture was until later. It is basically like kids who were born outside of like the U.S. Kids who were born outside of the West, like diaspora. No, diaspora is like me. I'm an Asian diaspora, right? Like I was born and raised in the U.S. I say my software is Chinese, but my software is like Taiwanese, but my hardware is no. My hardware is Taiwanese, but my software is American. That's kind of how I see it, right? So I'm very like differentiative in that sense. But like people who are third culture kids are like they're born and raised in Taiwan, in China, in Japan, in Korea, or everywhere else, right? India or the Middle East, right? And then they were like they were raised on like they're very culturally enriched, like rooted in their own countries because they're born and raised there. It's all they know when they were young. But they leave the country, maybe they watch a little internet, they get cultured, not firsthand, but they get secondhand culture. But I don't know why they're third culture kids though, because I guess it's like when they grow up being rooted in their country, and then that's firsthand. Secondhand, they get exposed to global culture with the internet. Third hand, they actually go to these countries in the West and then experience it firsthand. And boom, third culture. That's probably why they're third culture kids. So I'm not a third culture kid. And there are lots of third culture people out there, right? Some of them don't even have accents. But most of them, I think, do have accents. Like, I can definitely hear it in most of them. And also, like, the way they think, it's like a mix of, like, East and West. Or, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the way they think is definitely different than us diasporan Asians. Skittles had kind of wanted to do videos in Taiwan as a white guy speaking Chinese, but I saw on YouTube there are plenty. Seems kind of saturated. Do you think there are already too many people in that niche? No, I don't. I don't think there's too many people in that niche. Well, you think there's too many people in the niche of Asians doing Asian accents? You know how many of us there are? There's a lot of us, right? So there's not too late. And there are a lot of white people, black people, different colored people, brown people doing English content in Taiwan in Chinese, and they speak Chinese. And like it's cool. People in Taiwan eat it up. They love it. Is because what you bring to the table is just your own self, your own DNA. No one can copy that. The way you talk, your facial expressions, like every subtle thing about three things: your facial expressions, your vocal tones, and your body language. Like like those three things make you stand out without you having to do anything and without you having to say anything. So you can definitely stand out. You already stand out because the way you talk is already different. You're born as a different person. Your DNA is different. Your fingerprints are different. The way you move is different. The way your face moves, the way your voice inflects is different. Like, so never worry, man, about like, hey, is it too saturated? There's nothing too saturated, dude. I do AI content, man. I make content in the AI space. You think the AI space is too saturated, dude? Everyone's doing that shit. Everyone and their mom and grandma is doing AI. And I'm doing it too. Because I have a way of doing it. I have a way of thinking that's different than the next guy. I have something I want to do with AI. I don't just want to make slop. Yeah, I make AI slop a lot. But AI slop has its place. It does its thing. It has its purpose. But you gotta build it into something eventually. Same with human slop, right? I make human slop. I make AI slop. But you know what? My human slop, I'm building it into something. It's like you can do slop, but you have to have a foundation into what to build it towards. A vision for what you want it for. You're a pretty good motivational speaker. Yo, thank you, man. I just talk a lot because I'm old. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not afraid of the camera anymore because I've been in front of the camera for so many times. Please check out my socials, Skittles, Jacob, Roro, if you're here, Futeki, if you're here, or anyone else who usually comes if you're here. Have a good day, guys. I don't know who's here, actually. But hey, have a good day. It's 10:30, all right? Hard stop. I do 30 minutes every day at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in New York. So, guys, God bless. Peace out. Love y'all. Peace out, Skittle.